Okay, so we're going to get started making the stockings, and this is a very easy method. It's Priscilla and Chelsea's method. If you watch Stitching with the Housewives, I learned it from them. The only reason why I'm showing you today is I do have a corner edge right here that I thought it might be a little bit easier to show you how I do it. I had a video at the beginning to show you all the supplies that you're going to need. The one thing you want to do is you want to make sure your piece of fabric's ironed. It doesn't have to be really in a beautiful shape or anything. It just needs to be ironed. Because you are doing two, this is the first one side of this one. You want to make sure you've got your cardboards going the right way. Now I did use the cardboard, like shirting cardboard. I use it for scrapbooking, and because I couldn't get any of the sticky boards. And the nice thing about it is it's white on one side and brown on the other. So you just remember that if you're gluing down, you glue down to the white side on one as the top and the brown side on the other. So what we're going to do is use our tacky glue, and I use everything that I use for scrapbooking. And I just go around the edge. It's so easy. Do a little bit in the middle. And then you just lay your fabric right on top. Smooth it out pretty good. Kind of feel to make sure that you've got your edges on there right for turning. So you're going to smooth it, and turn it over. Now I will trim a little bit once I get to this part, just so that I don't have so much bulk. The other thing that I do is right where this bend is on here, see, you can see that bend where you take your scissors and you're going to cut almost to it, but not quite. You don't want to go all the way to it because you want it to go like this. See how this one has, the edge doesn't show right there. If you go closer to it, you're going to have that cardboard edge show. And we don't want that to happen. So then we do just like Priscilla and Chelsea do. I start in the corners. Their videos are really good if you want to watch some finishing ones. They do a lot of finishings on theirs that are so cute. So you glue down those corners, and then I always glue the top edge next. And you just kind of pull it down away from you. Okay, then I turn it, and I do this edge. And I just do a little bit like that because I'm going to roll it. So I kind of lift it and I roll it into it. Now you will get some on your fingers, so you got to be careful so you don't get burnt. I always get it on my fingers. I don't know why, but I do. Then you're going to fold down that side, and you kind of pull it tight on this corner. If you need a little bit more glue, add a little bit more in there. Okay, now as we go around the foot, I kind of tip it and just start in a little spot. And then I push it and push it and push it. See, and then I'll go back and flatten it back out, but it gives it that nice folded edge to make it go round around your heel. Then you're going to do the next one. See, and you just kind of keep pushing. See how you get that fold? Fold. Now I go back over these spots that are folded and kind of push them down again, because your hot glue will like ooze into there. so that you can kind of get them to lay a little bit flatter. Plus, when you glue them together, they're going to go flat too. Just push that down. Okay, now this is our back piece. Now you've got your two pieces, so you want to decide about how long you want your little loop. And I usually do mine, I kind of put it in my hand and go from there. Kind of lay it down and see. That looks pretty good. So then I'll cut it off. It doesn't matter if you do the points or not, because you're not going to be able to see it. And then I'll get the other one that goes on the back first. So I put a little bit of glue right there, so I can glue this piece down first. Then I'll lay it in there, kind of push it down. It'll kind of ooze all over into your ribbon, so you don't have to worry too much about it not catching it or catching it. Okay, then you're just going to go all the way around the edges with your hot glue. I get a little shaky doing this. My glue gun's hard to push. I don't know if everybody has a hard to push one, but mine sure is. Okay, so then we lay this right on top of there. Push down and make sure you've got everything nice and even. I like to really just push on it just to make sure it spreads that glue out a little bit and gets it around. Now I think these would be cute just like they are to hang on the tree and put little decorations on, even without your cross stitch, which is what I'm probably going to do because I don't have enough of them done this year. So I thought I'd get some more ready with florals on them and go from there. Okay, now to do our top piece. Now you're also getting a sneak peek because you saw the released ornaments that we did. Well, we have 3 more coming, and I should have them out today or tomorrow in my Etsy shop. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking the little piece that the cross stitch goes on, and I'm laying, I use Warm and Natural. I laid that right over the top. Then I just take a pair of scissors and just trim it close to that edge. It's actually easier for me to come on the top and feel where that edge is with the scissors, so I can get a closer cutting to it. You're just going to go all the way around. Now, remember, you don't have to be too particular just because you're going to be folding that and gluing it around. So now you're going to take this and lay it on here. Now, what I generally will do is hold it up to a light so I can see where they're going to go. If you have a light box, that's even better. Sometimes I put my light box right next to me to make sure I can get it everywhere I want it to go. Then I start on the back, same way as we did the other. Put a little bit of glue here and here, and fold that in. Now, because this is your stitch piece, you're going to want to check it again, kind of feel, see where it's going to go. Okay, now you're going to come back to here. We're going to cut that little bit of a indentation in there, not going all the way to it. Lay everything back down. Glue right along that edge. And then you kind of pull snug to make sure you get those points in those corners. So I'll even kind of roll it a little bit with my fingers. Now I check it again. Now see how crooked I am? Now you can kind of pull it and adjust it while that glue is still hot. So you're going to be able to maneuver that just a little bit. As long as it's hot, you can get it going. Okay, now I always go to this little edge. I want to make sure I get that nice and clean on there. So I fold it, and I fold it, and then I kind of roll it and roll it with the glue a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to glue down this edge, making sure to try and get that point in as best as I can. Now here we are on the edge again. So you're going to roll, 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 roll all the way around there. And then you go back. Now if you need a little bit more glue just to help those folds stay where you want them to go, just stick it under there and push. So push, push. Now I will tell you, if you get this all done and you do make a mistake and you go, oh no, I have to tear it off, get a hair dryer and heat your glue up so it's easier to get it off. Ask me how I know that. So, and it works. The hair dryer will help. Okay, so see, we've got that. The only thing we don't quite have is this corner. Very good. So I'm going to put a little bit more glue right there. We're going to pull it. See if we can get that over there. Okay, so now we've got this all glued down. Our points are pretty good. This corner is going by the bow, so it won't matter if you get it as tight. I always want to set it down and kind of check and see where it's going. But now, before we do that part, we need to add the rickrack. And we use Lori Holt's vintage trim, the small one in white. And how I did this is I start right along this edge. And I don't know, can you see that really well? See how I have that edge? And I'm going right along there with a bead of glue. And you don't want a lot or it'll ooze onto the front. So you just kind of go like that. Then I lay the rickrack on there, just barely, and kind of move it up. So I can check this side to see where it's going. See how nice that rickrack looks on there. Now when you get to this corner, all I do is kind of fold it. See, go straight out, fold it up. Or you can even, if you have trouble with that, you can even just turn it and go back down. But I think we'll be okay just making it go up. Now I will put a little bit more in there to help hold that turn. But I do this a little bit at a time because it's, for one thing, it's little and I don't want to get burned. And for another thing, it's a little bit harder to get that on there. So see, can you see that? See how we've got it right on that edge? Okay, then I'll hold on to where I had it. A little bit at a time. You can kind of angle it while that's hot. Then it kind of can tip. And you just keep going, just slow to get that on there. Now, if you don't want to use your hot glue gun, you can use your craft glue, but I will tell you it takes a little bit longer and it's a little bit harder to get it to stay on there. Unless you want to use pins. I've done that before and pinned it, but the hot glue works. You just have to keep pinching glue off your fingers all the way around. I really need a glue gun that is easy to push this out too. That would make life so much easier. Now, see where it's stuck a little bit? All you gotta do is pull it off. The hot glue will get on there and it'll melt what's there. If you feel like it's not going to, just rub your tip on it. Now, when I get right to here, I will clip this before I glue, just so that it's not in my way. Then move that trim out of my way. There we go. Now it's all on there. So now we just have to glue it to our board. Check it again, see where you kind of want it to go. Now I do it mostly on this side. Put some glue on there. I will do a little strip down it just to kind of help a little bit. Now, you can turn it a little if you need to. And then just hold it down. And you can feel the heat in it from the hot glue. But you can see it's all over my fingers. Now, I will set that aside while it cools so that I can make the bow. And this is what the bow looks like that goes on them. And how I do that is I take the ribbon and I make a loop. I leave a little bit of a tail, so sometimes you might want one, sometimes you might not. Then I'm going to go up around again. So see, now I've got like a little bit of a bow like that. Now I'm going to go up again. If you need to turn it, you can. You want them to be about the same size. Then I'm going to turn it again. Now this one, I always feel like it needs to go underneath that one to make it lay right. Then you can cut your ribbon however you need to, however you like. Okay, now instead of gluing or tying knots, because this is going underneath hot glue anyway, I just use my stapler and staple it. Nobody will see it. When you glue it, it will grab it, all the spots that maybe you missed with your stapler. Okay, now bring your piece back. And kind of decide how it is you want it. Now, I want that jolly to show because that was part of my design that I wanted on there. So you can kind of pull them and tip them a little bit. Then you're going to go put a glob of glue right there. That was a real technical term, glob of glue. Now, it's still kind of doing it, so just kind of pull it while the glue's hot. It'll keep it over. Now, we really need some greenery to go on it as well. I'm going to grab my scissors. And I got this greenery at Hobby Lobby. Same place I got the ribbon. And you just cut off a piece of what you need. And then when I cut it off, I always turn it so that it gives it kind of, so it's not going to poke anyone for one thing. And then kind of bend it, kind of see how you want that to go. Then we need a piece of just green. So I think that could go right under there. So you just kind of decide how it is you want it to go, and then you're going to put glue down on that. So I glue the back one first. Put a little bit of glue over that. And then lay that one over that. Now, I use this tool, which is called an IHOP or something like that, I think. But it does covered buttons. So I did the same, I covered buttons out of the same fabric that I did on the back. And then I just put a lot of glue on it and put it right on top of there. Hold it down. And you are done. How's that? Then you have a sneak peek at one of our next patterns. So thanks for following along and watching me do one of these. Now, if you really want to see a better job of doing finishing, you might want to go over to Priscilla and Chelsea's YouTube, and they have some tutorials on their finishings as well. So you guys have a great day, and be sure and like down at the bottom of the video, and follow me if you're not following me. I'd love for you guys to follow me. So thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.